Hey guys, wanted to talk about a few things about Jehovah's Witnesses, of course, as usual. But lately, something that's been on my mind is the fact that a couple of little kids from my old congregation got baptized recently. And of course, they did it via the internet and their bathtub because of COVID. But I wanted to talk about that for a couple of different reasons. First of all, Jehovah's Witnesses are leaning more and more closer to just baptizing babies, which is something they always spoke out against. But the loophole they're using to get around that is just baptizing children. You know, we don't baptize babies, we baptize people who are ready. But a child is never ready, and I'm talking about anywhere from 9 years old to 14, 15 years old. Kids are getting baptized, and anybody who's anybody, you don't have to be a scientist to know that when you're 9 to 15 years old, you do not know what you want for the rest of your life. When you're baptized in the organization, you are signing a contract saying you will follow their orders or be shunned. And a 9 to 15 year old child should not be making that sort of decision. I was 14 myself and when I was baptized, and I know a lot of people who were a lot younger than that, and most of them are not Jehovah's Witnesses anymore and being shunned by their families, which is what's going to happen to these kids. There was about 3 kids that I knew pretty well, obviously their parents. You know, I was a ministerial servant, so and a couple of those people's parents were elders and ministerial servants, so I was pretty close to all of them. Those kids came and played with my kids and things like that. Thankfully, I never got my kids baptized. I always sort of knew that I wasn't going to. I was going to let them decide when they were older. I'm talking like 18 years and older. Then if they did it, then that was going to be on them, but I was never pushing it, ever. And to be honest with you, from a man's perspective, most men, especially if you're an elder or a ministerial servant or reaching out, the main reason you're trying to get your kid baptized is to make you look good. Because one of the requirements, sorry, I've been wearing a mask all day, so I'm all funky and itchy. But anyway, one of the main requirements of being a ministerial servant or elder is your family has to look good. You have to have that picture perfect family. So if you got all your kids baptized, then that's a shoe-in to getting a position. But that's what most of the men are doing it for. And of course, the wives are going to go along with what the man says, and the kids have to as well. So that's how that works. You'll notice that a lot of people who are not reaching out for a position in the congregation, their kids don't tend to get baptized younger, because those guys don't really care about a position, so they're not trying to push baptism for their kids. And it's definitely a trend that you'll notice as a Jehovah's Witness. And so I just thought it was terrible that they're baptizing these kids, and you know, they're basically signing over that they won't be able to talk to these kids once they're old enough to leave the organization and realize what they've done. And you know, you basically just wrote your kid off because you know you're going to shun them. You have to, by the rules. So it's just really sad. And I just have seen so much crazy things from the organization recently. I think Brother Lett and Brother Morris are finally losing their marbles. I mean, these guys are getting weirder and weirder, the things that they say and how they act. And I think that the organization shot itself in the foot when they started putting these guys on TV. I mean, these are our leaders. They just seem nuts. And I can't imagine that there's not some active Jehovah's Witnesses not thinking the same thing. Yeah, these guys were just loony. But anyway, that's what I had on my mind. Leave a comment. It's good to see you guys.